Hello, everyone. Happy birthday to John Lennon. Today's October 9th. Would have been John Lennon's 85th birthday. Can you believe that? John Lennon, if he was here and well enough, would still be 85. Sometimes I wonder if he still had lived, if he would have made it to 85. I always wonder about that. Now, some of you are going to be slow to catch on that I'm live. I was toying with the idea of, as I sometimes do, if you follow my channel, I do live streams. I do live streams for birthdays. I do Beatles talk, just kind of impromptu, that kind of thing. And I had been thinking about doing this earlier, but I couldn't make it here earlier. So better late than never, and we'll do it. I don't know how long it'll be. We'll see if anybody is going to chime in. I have a link up there, and if anybody who knows their Beatles or just wants to talk Beatles, you can do that. Don't be offended if I don't let you up. It depends who it is. You know what I mean? It's gonna be people I know and stuff like that. But I figured I would do this, and also I had a comment from one of my regular viewers who said, "Are you going to be?" I just got this like 8:00 p.m. my time. Said, "Are you going to be? Today's John's birthday. You're going to be doing a video." But he had said, please do a video for John." And I said, because I was thinking about it anyway, I said, actually, I was going to go live. So here we are. So hopefully this will suffice and for a John tribute video. This is the question that everybody keeps asking me, and I'm going to answer it to the best of my ability. As you know, this past Tuesday, I was invited to a party, an event celebrating the Power to the People John and Yoko box release. I did a video about it, but I didn't really go into too many details about it. I talked to Sean Lennon quite a bit about a whole host of topics. He was available all night. He made himself open to discussion, and it was just great, no pressure. He was a regular guy. Anyway, here's the thing. Nobody really asked Sean about the missing track, but he actually talked to me about it, and I'll tell you why he did that, okay? When I first walked in there, I saw Sean talking to a couple of people, and I didn't want to bother him. So I waited until he was a little free. But then he saw me and he recognized me. He recognized me because, we've had a few emails back and forth, and he liked what I did on some of my videos, particularly the Give Me Some Truth review that I did way back in 2020. And he recognized me, and he said to me, hey, good to see you. Glad you were able to come. And I thought that was amazing. He reached out to me. The first thing he did, believe it or not, was he started talking about the song. And the reason I think that he talked about the song was because he had seen my video, which we talked about, where I was not too happy. I was disappointed, to put it mildly, that the song was not going to be included on the box set. And he felt, and it was amazing to me, really, he felt like he wanted to explain things a little bit. Now, all I could say about it is that's how it went. I didn't ask him. No, people didn't ask him, I don't think. I wasn't privy to every conversation. There's a lot of people there talking to him. But the bottom line is they want whatever it was. They haven't gone public with it yet. Whatever it is, they haven't gone public with it yet. So I'm not going to go public with it. That's about all I could say about it. Hello, Matt Stickman. How you doing? Hello, Penny Lane. Hello, David. Hello, Christian. Hi, Joe. And way at the top, the first person here was James. Hello, James. Now, let's say people don't know that I'm here. So because they don't know that I'm here, there's not going to be, a heck of a lot of people unless they just happen to find out. And it is late at night. So we'll see how it goes. If this is worth keeping or not, we'll see. Let's see. Hello, Dino. Good to see you. Of course, we're talking about Sean. Sean is 50 years old today. He's 50 years old today. And, of course, I, just like a lot of people, the other night wished Sean a happy birthday. And I said to him, basically, I said, "Hey, has anybody wished you a happy birthday?" And of course, he said, "Well, a couple of people." He said, "But I said I'd kind of like to stay in my 40s just for a couple of more days because it was 2 days before his birthday." So he joked about it, and then as we talked more, he said, "It's funny." He said, "I don't feel 50 at all. I don't. It's weird." He said, "I feel as I always did. I feel young. It's just freaky or something like that." And of course, I couldn't help saying, "Well, no, 50 actually isn't bad." I said, "60's the one. That's the one." And just small talk like that. Um, so I'm gathering they're going to release the single. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean, James? Which single? You talking about the woman song? Hello, Joe. Everybody calls you Joe. I call you Joseph. What do you prefer, honestly? Because I call you Joseph. And, there were a lot of Joes. Like we had Joe F up here, and Joe Mayo and stuff. So uh, there was no. Well, I didn't hear anything about the Rubber Soul box set. That would have been a good question actually, because even though Sean is really more involved with his dad's catalog and stuff, I'm sure he might know what's going on with Rubber Soul as well. But nobody, it's funny, nobody really thought. Okay, you don't mind, Joseph. Okay, Joseph. Do you have a favorite song from the new John Lennon box set? You know, I think New York City, the new what they call Ultimate Mix. Um, that's one of my very favorite songs on the Sometime in New York City album, and what they were able to do with that is just incredible. Making it really clear and stuff. There are some differences that I notice in it, and yeah, most of it I like the differences. There's a little bit difference. I keep saying there's a piano solo in there, and I think the piano solo is a different solo. Now, some people told me no. Well, they don't think it's a different piano solo. It's just that I think Beatley Tone actually. I say some people Beatley Tone. I think he said to me he thought it's the same piano solo we've always heard. It's just that it doesn't have sax and stuff on it. Uh, I don't think that's the case. I mean, I know that piano solo pretty well. I'm not an expert, but yeah. Yeah, I asked about Yoko. I'm sure I wasn't the only one. I've heard other people got the same answer. So I asked, how's your mom doing? And he said, well, she's doing pretty good. He said, she's getting older now. She's in her early 90s and she's slowing down a bit. And he said that she was upstate, So some people thought that maybe Yoko was not upstate, that maybe she was at the Dakota, and that was not true. But no, he confirmed that she's not there. But other people have said the same thing when a lot of people asked him the same question. I'm sure, how's your mother doing? And they've given the same answer because he's told them the same thing that I just told you. So there you go. Now like I said, I'm here without anything really to talk about. I did not announce this stream, so we have to wait and see if anybody asks questions. Ask anything Beatle related. Beatles, John Lennon. Today's really John Lennon's birthday, but you can ask John Lennon, Beatles, anything relating to those guys, really. And we'll try to have a little conversation if we can. If you have nothing to ask, don't worry about it. I'll just sit here and start juggling or something like that. All right. Yeah, if I knew exactly that I was going to go on tonight, and in particularly what time I was going to go on tonight, I would have made sure to put an ad up. But I wasn't positive. All right, so I do have the link up. It depends, if anybody winds up showing up behind the stage in the wings, so to speak. See what I did there? I might not let you all up. It depends who it is. Don't feel bad if that's the case. So I got to check something at the same time. I'm getting together with my friend Anthony tomorrow. So because I'm getting together with Anthony, I just got to keep up here. Okay, almost ready, folks. Not that there's anything to really talk about right now. All right. Okay. Do you have a favorite Yoko Ono song? Thank you, Dino, for asking. I'm trying to narrow it down to one. I have a lot of them. I always say "Walking on Thin Ice," but the ones I'll tell you the ones that come to mind: "Walking on Thin Ice," "Listen, the Snow is Falling," a song called "Goodbye Sadness." I like "Remember Love." I like "Mrs. Lennon." What's the other one called? "Midsummer New York." I like "Move On Fast." The song "Move On Fast" from Approximately Infinite Universe is on the live concert of One to One, and I really wasn't that familiar with it. And now when I heard it on the One to One thing, and again, for those who haven't seen it yet, here's the 2 CD version. This is the 2 CD version. This is available tomorrow, unless you're in England. It's already tomorrow, but yeah, this is the 2 CD version. What do you think is next from the John Lennon box set? Well, they said that Simon, I should say, Simon, who's really in charge of these things, Simon had said, we always say Simon says, right? Simon says, touch your head, Simon says, take one step forward. No, so Simon told us, I got out of that one, that next year it's going to be, which we kind of knew, the afternoon and the evening concerts of One to One with John and Yoko on video. It's going to be Blu-ray. It's going to be the visual concert. Hopefully, we'll get a theatrical release. Hopefully, I put that in there. He didn't say that. I'm thinking it's going to happen because it was amazing watching that in the Dolby screening room last Tuesday night. He played like 4 or 5 songs from this, and it was great. Anyway, as far as box set, he confirmed that Walls and Bridges 2027. So we have to wait a little bit for Walls and Bridges. Well, you don't want to say too much. I did kind of mention that. I kind of mentioned that to him, and I realize he doesn't do a lot of interviews like that. He does some. And he told me to shoot him an email because I have his email, personal email. He said, you have my personal email, which I do because when we first started talking, we had it back in 2020 is when we first did. But yeah, so hi, Elvin. Thank you very much. But then again, I don't know. I'd have to think about it myself too. What the hell am I going to talk about? Let's see. Gary, hello, Gary. What's going on? Why do you think they're delaying the Walls and Bridges release for so long? I don't know. Simon did say that I think they were working on it already. Okay. Okay, Joseph's waiting for this, right? Yeah, it'll be here. Don't worry. Will all of these songs be on YouTube? Like that, I don't know. Hello, Marcus. What do you say, Marcus? That's a nice picture you chose for the thumbnail. Don't you wish you were the person in the orange shirt? Why am I a little mixed up? I'm a little mixed up. I don't know why I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm mixed up. It's a little late for me, over my head. Hi, Robbie. What's going on? Did you happen to ask Sean, will we ever see a comprehensive release of his dad's 75 to 80 demos? No, I never did. I didn't. It's funny. Like, I really, most of the talk was just small talk. How you doing? What's up? How does it feel to be 50? Like human beings. We talk like just two guys, and he was, just that kind of thing, really. It was pretty amazing. Um, so for me, anyway, it was. I'm going to keep. Occasionally, you'll see me putting the link up again, which is I'm giving an invitation for people, Beatle people that know me and I know them. That if they happen to be out there. Oh, I see what you. Oh, I see what you say. Hold on a minute, Marcus. Hold on. I forgot about the thumbnail. Hold on. I'm still trying to put this up here. Okay, there we go. Boom, boom. All right. Yeah. Okay. I put a thumbnail up. I don't know if that's going to be. That's not going to be the thumb. It may not be the thumbnail I'm going to use when this is finished. But right now I've got a thumbnail of somebody in New York. Approaching. I think that's actually a woman. Actually, I believe from if I remember the history right, that was written under it. Anyway, it's a picture of John with a fan, and the fans. I remember that fan waited a long time, and John obliged. John, I'm not saying he always signed autographs or was always in a great mood, but there were a lot of such pictures like that, personal, private pictures of John meeting with fans, and being nice to the fans. I'm sure he had his shit days like anybody else. I never met Julian. Would be nice. What's my favorite John Lennon interview from 1980? I'm going to go with actually the Andy Peebles interview. I like the Andy Peebles interview. I think, there's a few of them. There's four of them. There's at least four that I can think of. There's Newsweek with Lisa Robinson. There's Andy Peebles on December 6th. There's the RKO one is not my favorite, only because that's hours before John was shot. So I mean, that's not exactly my favorite for that reason, I guess. There's also the Playboy interview. That's good, but I think I like the Andy Peebles one. So. All righty, folks. The battery's about to run out. I've only got 4% on it. Not too good. I should have charged it. Actually, you know what? I've got the charger right here. I could plug it into the back of the computer. What do you think of that if I need it? So, well, we had 40 people here at one time. Now we're down to 27. Nothing's happening here. I didn't think there would be because I didn't announce it. Oh, yeah. I have the Rolling Stone magazine and a lot of others too. And it's funny. I want to part with them, some of these things. But when it comes down to it, it's almost like you've got sentimental value to these things. You can't let them go. So that's how that goes. Well, we'll see how much longer we do this. If it picks up, it'll pick up. If not, oh, I'm not sure if there was food all along. I know that late in the event there was a birthday cake for Sean, and I had a little piece. I had the last piece actually. I saw my friend who went with me, Robert S. He was eating a piece of cake. I said, "What's that?" He goes, "It's Sean's birthday cake." And I said, "Really?" And then I went over there, and it was literally this big tiny piece there. I said, "Oh, I can say I had a piece of birthday cake." Oh, thank you so much. Much appreciated, Daniel. Thank you I really appreciate that. And you giving it. Well, it's John's birthday, not mine. You should be giving John the tribute. When you first heard John's Plastic Ono Band, what did you think? I bought it in 1970 when it was released. Well, I always have a good story about that. It would the first listen I ever had to John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band was like a religious experience. It was very powerful. It was the most amazing experience I've ever had listening to any album in my entire life. It's almost like it's almost, Gary, like this story. And want me to tell it again, but I was 15. I think the first time I heard Plastic Ono Band was around 1977, and I lived in my grandmother's house at the time, and I actually was in the porch. We had like a porch in towards the front of the house, and it was at nighttime, and I had the headphones on, and I listened to John Lennon Plastic Ono Band at night in the dark for the first time. Now, the way this porch was, the porch was, it had like windows around it, like a lot of windows, and it was nighttime, so you could see the sky, and there were a lot of trees. On the block that I lived on, there were a lot of trees. It was the right mood, and I listened to Mother, I listened to Hold On, I listened to I Found Out, and Well, and Isolation, and God, and the whole working class hero. I was absolutely riveted, and I actually had the lyrics sheet, the inner sleeve with the lyrics on it, and I was blown away by this album. And even My Mummy's Dead at the end, that little thing they tag on at the end, kind of affected me because it was so creepy and cryptic and sad at the same time, and pained. It really was amazing, and it was a perfect first listen and the most intense time I ever had listening to an album. It was perfect. Daniel, yeah, sure. Daniel wants to come aboard. What am I going to say after you gave me 20? No, no, of course. But, what are we going to talk about? We want people, people also want to come up and talk Beatles, you're welcome. Where's, can't think of it. Well, where's people like Mark Zutkoff when you need them? And I know Tom Hunyadi is at the movies. He's always seeing a movie. But I told him if the movie lets out and you happen to be around and you can come on, you're welcome up here. So. Yeah, he talked about the next the Claypool album, I believe. And that's another thing I talked to him about. I haven't heard a lot of Sean's music, but my nephew likes Sean's music. And once he brought over Ghost of a Saber-Toothed Tiger, which I really enjoyed, and he knew I would enjoy it because he knows things I like and don't like. So he brought that over, and I enjoyed it. I told him so. And one time I told Sean that when I went to see Bob Dylan, I recall that I had a special treat. He wasn't announced, but Sean Lennon opened up, or he was with Beck, Sean. So that was a real good treat. We talked about that a little bit. All right, let's see where we're at here. What was the first single by John Lennon and Yoko that you bought? Well, let's put it this way. I didn't become a real John Lennon guy until around 1977 when he was retired. So I bought Just Like Starting Over when it was his new single and he had the new album, Double Fantasy, out. That was the first one that I bought. I don't remember. If you're talking about at the time of actual release, it was so great for John to be back. I was 18 when that song came out. In fact, it was October 1980, almost a year. I think it was October 15th. And if I'm right about that, that's pretty good. Okay, let's bring Mr. Ed up here. No, it's not the horse. It's not the horse. What's going on, sir?
Hi, how's it going, Joe? How are you,
sir? It's been a while, huh?
Yes, sir.
I don't remember when the last time was.
There was another gentleman, and it was some random Saturday. I didn't really, because both you and him were sort of vibing off each other. I kind of,
yeah.
I took the George and kind of just let the Joe Lennon, McCartney,
Well, sometimes that can happen. And nobody has to be intimidated by Mr. Ed. You can still come up and talk Beatles stuff. Don't forget. He's not going to hurt you. So, it was on vinyl. The first the John Lennon listen, the Plastic Ono Band was on vinyl. Yeah, I had the lyric sheet in my hand, the inner sleeve with the lyrics. Oh, hello. What's going on? When do you think the new mix of Real Love will be released? Release date for Anthology or earlier, like Free as a Bird? Well, we don't know. Just a guess. I would think we'll get Real Love dropping first. I would think. I guess. I need to give Plastic Ono Band another listen. It didn't quite click with me when I listened to it. Well, that's another thing. Thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me. Well, at 15 years old, when I first heard Plastic Ono Band, I was in high school. I had my usual teenage angst and problems and occasional depressions or worries, or I was a child of divorce. My mother and father, had problems when I was little, all that kind of stuff. So it really struck a nerve with me. Now the thing is, these days I can't listen to that album too much. I don't listen to it much at all because I think you have to be in a real funk to really enjoy it. And I'm not in a funk anymore. I'm happy to say I don't get in these funks anymore, really. So that's why I always lean, as much as I think Plastic Ono Band is John Lennon's masterpiece album, so to speak, maybe his best. I go with Imagine over it a little bit anyway, because it's more accessible and a little more palatable. I was going to say commercial, but yeah. John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band, I agree, was the most mesmerizing album I've ever heard. Yeah, what an experience. I thought I was missing something. Yeah, you're missing the depression and the misery, I guess, relating to John's pain.
Sorry.
Oh, he's disappearing. The Australian version of Plastic Ono Band was censored when I first heard it. Got an original uncensored UK pressing in the early 80s to enjoy. Working Class Hero when I found out, as nature intended. You're muted.
There we go. Sorry about that. Joe, let me, may I ask, when you did your Ringo, the 4 or 5 or 6 now albums that are coming out, are there a few? I know you had said Ringo for sure. If I Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. Like all of the ones that you wanted to obtain,
I wanted to get 2 of them.
Mhm.
Ringo and Goodnight Vienna.
Is there any that you're kind of we'll see maybe?
No, I don't want any other. I don't want the
Okay.
other ones. No,
Okay.
I don't know. I just can't get everything, and I don't really want to. Honestly, get everything. It's too much. I should also mention that I also said in my video that on Record Store Day, this November, next month, Ringo's 2005 album Choose Love was supposed to be part of Record Store Day. Now I'm hearing, I went to a record store today and I told them, yeah, that's what I'm interested in. He said, oh, it's been canceled. So the Ringo Choose Love album is canceled, and I reported it in my video. So there you go. Let me see here. Eric, yeah, hi. What's going on? You remember Friend, Two Older Brothers had the Instant Karma single. I would have loved to buy that when it was new, but I wasn't into it. I didn't know about the solo Beatles much then. Yeah.
It's crazy. It goes to show too, like what that gentleman was saying about listening to Plastic Ono a second time around. I feel that the only other album in his that I don't know gets me kind of like that is Double Fantasy. Not just
Yeah.
because of but just the topics that he's bringing up. It's like
Yeah.
unless you've been to that, and he even says this album is for people my age. In
Right.
one of his interviews, I can't remember which one.
Yeah, he did say that. He said if the young kids dig it, good, cool. But
Yeah,
he's speaking to
I
people
wasn't
his
even
age.
around.
Well, that's the opposite end of the spectrum. When I first heard Double Fantasy, I was 18, and I thought I'm glad he's back, but this doesn't really grab me too much. It's not as I was expecting something else.
Sure.
I think that album got better as I got older and went through more, relationship and things and marriage and all that. I I didn't have any children, but I can relate to Double Fantasy more now, let's put it that way, than I did when I was a teenager. Just like the opposite thing.
You
Um,
you can't start over when you've only just begun, Joe.
that's, no. Uh, Hello, Anthony. What's going on? Oh, yep. Happy birthday. That's why I started it to do this. Hello, Richard. What's going on?
Richard.
My first John Lennon album was Shaved Fish. I think it was mine too, which I bought. I think that's the same time I bought. Well, I might have bought it in '75 actually when it was new. And I think of it, I'd be 13 or so. Yeah, that was the first one I got as well. Shaved Fish. And at first you're like, well, I'll just get like the so-called best of to start. I bought that along with Ringo's Blast from Your Past. I have not heard that album, Into the Sun. Yeah.
I remember over on my neck of the woods, getting Blast from Your Past was kind of because my first Lennon was that compilation Lennon Legend.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what year that came out, but um,
I'm not
uh,
sure either. To me, it all
early two
runs the same.
thousands.
Once you get into like 1998, there's no difference to me between 98 and 2000, 2004, 2009, 16, 17, 20, 23. To me, it's all the same. you know. Um, oh, so Richard likes Plastic Ono Band, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Sean is a dynamite musician. I'll never forget his work with. I can't pronounce that properly, so I won't try. I think Isolation is my favorite tune on Plastic Ono Band. Yeah, it's a good one.
I like Hold On.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of times I mention that as my favorite. Oh, I don't know why. It's short, but I like it. Hello, Starman. What's going on? Yeah, that was. Let me tell you, it was pretty cool. It was. It
Was that
really
the
was.
first Beatle child you've ever met, Joe? I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
might be late. Oh,
I
okay.
think it's the only. I think it's the only one. I'm trying to think now. Wow, I mean, you got me thinking here. Uh, hmm. Even though I support and defend Yoko a lot, I know that's supposed to be a great album. It's supposed to be a best album.
Mm.
I get this. I get the albums mixed up as to what songs they're on, which I always get mixed up whether they're on that one or on Fly. I never played it all the way through, but I know a lot of tracks off Fly and Approximately Infinite Universe. There you go. There's a question for you. You have a favorite John Lennon album?
Um, well, it's interesting because, like, it's funny. Half of your we should have a BL and AL before Lennon, and because with it as a kid that was born after I was 8 years after his passing, unfortunately. So with it, my dad would praise the Beatles, their solo work. He would talk about Wings, but very, very sparse. So I had to kind of forge, and with it, this is where the kids now was. I remember getting really excited on getting a bootleg. It was for $200 of Let It Be, and my
Yeah.
dad goes, "Why the heck would you do that? $200 on eBay?" He goes, "You don't even know." And once I started to listen to, when you listen to the Beatles, it's sort of, especially you coming after, you don't know any of that. It's from a different lifetime. You weren't around. So his the one that I would say would probably that sticks with me the most is probably Mind Games.
Hmm. Yeah. A lot of
And
people like that.
and I also like Walls and Bridges as well. I think Number Nine Dream is probably one of his top three songs he's ever
Yeah,
written.
that's what I agree with that. One of the
I
best
love
ones.
that song. That's you could put me on an island. I love that.
A few weeks short of 18 when Double Fantasy came out. How old was I? May, June, I was like 18 and 8 months. I was over the moon about him being back. Yeah, I was the same age as you, and amazing. It all changed in like a few weeks. Amazing. Horrible. You could mention Paul stuff. I mean, not a problem. Do I think Ken Dashow wears a toupee? I never really thought about it, but now that I'm picturing it in my
I
mind, it's possible. And I got some bozo once that thought that I did. That's so freaking stupid. Come on, it's so obvious I don't. I bought Walls and Bridges early in '78 and bought Imagine Mind Games the end of '78. Well, let's go to bed the end of '79 and really got into it. Well, yeah, as I say, I got into it more then than now. Not to beat the dead horse, but uh, you love Mind Games, Double Fantasy, excited for Walls and Bridges. What were you talking about? Me Pang in Walls and Bridges. I don't know if there was another conversation going on with Andy as with some people, and I said that's definitely May Pang. That says John in the song Number 9 Dream.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely her. It sounds like her, and she said it was her. I heard her, I believe. But I think I might have mixed that up with Surprise, Surprise, Sweet Bird of Paradox. I think he was talking about, which I don't remember name being said in there. Maybe I'm mixing it up, mixing stuff up.
Mr. Eddie.
Yeah, what's going on, Eddie? I'm looking at comments at the same time. That's why I didn't say anything. Yeah, number 9 Dream or Jealous Guy is favorite. Yeah. There you go. Too bad he doesn't have that many albums to discuss, isn't it? Thanks a lot, jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Ed, where is Wilbur? Haha, that's a good joke.
Always up to his old tricks. Always up to
right. Amazing thing about Beatles together and solo is that every release immediately makes me remember where I was in life at the time. Yeah, that's the beauty of music in general. I get a lot of that with the solo Beatles, obviously, because I was too young for the regular Beatles stuff to remember any of that.
Well, here's a bit of a hot take. I like Backseat of My Car more than Maybe I'm Amazed.
Oh, not me. I like, it's like I don't hate Backseat of My Car.
You get a little mix of everything. You get a little bit of ballad. You get a little bit of the raucous, especially with that double ending that he kind of, that they like to do. They always like doing.
I like it, but I'm not as over the moon as people have said here about it as every other Paul fan is. I don't know. I do like it. It's got good harmonies, Beach Boys sounds. A few weeks ago, I was sanding. Why? I listened to Paul's Flaming Pie in the headphones later. Oh, sanding. You did mean sanding, I guess. Later, when staining the wood, I listened to this tour Mind Games. Yes, Eric. Hello, Alan. Yes, I did. There was one little piece left. It's funny. I saw my friend had a piece. I said, "What's that?" He said, "Sean's cake." And I said, I looked over at the table, and there was one little itsy bitsy piece, and I said, "I'll just have that, just to make it, just to say, hey, I had a Sean birthday cake." Maybe I'm Amazed to me is maybe his best song they ever wrote, even with the Beatles, but that's just my opinion. But it's one of those times when Paul really, to me, actually said something and felt something, and really had a song with a real feeling and pain and personal trauma to it. That's why I think I like it so much.
Sure.
Personally. There could have been 20 more John albums. Excuse me. I don't like doing streams this late. I just wanted to get some John stuff and Beatles. And there could have been 20 more albums. You never know. Yeah, my top 5 favorite John Lennon songs are Mother, Oh Yoko, New York City, Mind Games, and Beautiful Boy. I like. I'm not as big on Mother as I was. Another one. I loved that song when I first heard it. I never heard it before as a teenager, and it was so powerful. Now I feel like it's a bit of a chore to listen to that all the way through. But I still think it's a great song. I'm just a little overdosed on it and stuff. That bit where he runs up the piano on Maybe I'm Amazed is iconic. All right, what do we Derek corrected something? I don't know where it is. Look. Okay, we'll skip that. Sorry. I do think that the song House of Wax,
Next.
from memory almost full,
Cool.
is definitely a great overlooked song. That's a great vocal from Paul, especially he's like around 65 with there,
Hey,
more or
Even
less.
Dance Tonight is great too.
It's
I
a fun
think
little ditty. I
did
do
he?
like it.
Yeah, just McCartney classic.
Yeah, Look at Me is one of my favorite songs on the Plastic Ono Band as well. Okay, went to the early event. Yeah, I saw some pictures from there, Alan, with your cousin Elliot, and Sean is a true gentleman. Yes, he is. He was great. He just was great. I mean, so cool, so down to earth, so willing to talk with everybody. At least he was that night. I don't know how but it was pretty amazing. Yeah, Look at Me is a song that I really like. It's simple, but it's effective for me.
Were you able to ask him as many questions as you would have liked, Joe?
Oh, I
Because he
could.
does.
You could talk forever if you didn't want to be a nuisance.
Right.
It was just a situation where all night he was just there talking, standing, talking to anybody that he wanted to talk to him. And sometimes there'd be 4 or 5 people in a circle around him. Sometimes there'd be 1, 2,
Mhm.
or he'd be a couple of times even by himself for a little bit.
Interesting.
Just hanging out. Yeah.
That's great that he gets that space. I'm sure um, his
Yeah.
dad would appreciate that he gets at least a little bit of space because I'm sure he gets bombarded all the time.
I have to agree. I think maybe I'm amazed the best song Paul ever wrote, but I'm just personally so tired of it. Yeah, that
That might
happens.
be part of it. Yeah, that might be part of
Hmm.
my sort of because when I hear backseat of my car, like you know, I turn it up all the way to the front seat of my car. Um,
Yeah. I'm trying to think like, well, Richard, are you more tired of it than yesterday? Or Hey Jude, for God's sake, or Let It Be? I don't know. I'm tired of those personally.
yeah,
If Yoko isn't doing so well, I hope she's comfortable. God bless her. Well, Sean said she was. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. Not that I'm calling him, I'm doubting his word, but you're in a social situation. I mean, I thought she hadn't been doing so good for a long time now, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Yesterday is the best song Paul ever wrote. I'm so tired of Yesterday. It's hard for me to really think about that anymore.
I love
It
how
is.
George and John just the minute it came out, they were like, "Nope, sorry."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great song. I'm just a little. I'm very tired of it, but it is one of the best. It's in the running for his best song, sure. If not the best, but definitely one of the best. I'm young and just saw Paul for the first time in Vegas Saturday. Best show ever. Well, I love hearing that because that's what it's all about. And the young people coming in here and really getting into the Beatles and Paul McCartney, and it's what's going to keep the future going with them. So I really appreciate that. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm definitely tired of Hey Jude. I don't need to hear it in November.
Yeah.
Oh, you go in November is when you're going to Pittsburgh. Is that what you mean?
Mm,
Richard's going to see Paul in Pittsburgh,
mm,
so he means he doesn't need to hear it when he goes.
yeah.
I would really love it if Paul came up with a total classic song on his upcoming album. That would be great. I believe that he still has it in him. I think he's written some damn fine music in the last bunch of albums. He still has it. Let's hope. I mean, all I know is he spent an awful long time on this album, and I can't help thinking, just in my opinion, that he's trying to get it right, and he really wants it to be special, and it could be maybe his last. You never know. He's not going to give up, but
Yeah.
I think he's thinking of all these things. Tom says he'll be here in 15. All right, so Tom's going to be up here soon.
Nice.
Let me just
A happening joint,
let me see if I can
rocking in a road and
put the link up again. It says 15. By that time, I'll need the link. I know he's going to ask me for a link. Um, where are we at here? Okay. Paul's one of the greatest entertainers and showmen ever. A great songwriter too. Oh, I think so. Yeah, he's my choice for the best songwriter. The 20th century. My opinion. Even though I'm a John guy, mostly because I'm interested in John as a person and the way, you know,
I'm
the way he is.
yeah, I'm torn between Paul and Dylan. It's kind of hard.
It's funny. I forgot. It's been so long since I listened to the John Lennon anthology, which is up there somewhere, and the second one over. It's been so long since I played that I forgot what's on there, and I didn't even realize that we got that song. "Woman is the bleep of the world" is live is on that too. And it's I think it's the evening show. I think, or I don't know which one it is. Let's put it that way. Maybe I think it "Come Together" is on there. Okay, what are your top 3 favorite songs to Let It Be out? Now, it depends on my mood.
I've got a feeling.
Yeah, yeah. I got for me, I gotta say, "Let It Be." I have to
Mm.
say it, even "Let It Be," "Get Back." Even though I'm kind of tired of "Get Back," "Let It Be," "Get Back," and maybe "I Got a Feeling" might be my 3 favorite songs from there.
Do you discredit Across the Universe? Do you think
I've
kind of
never
like,
been a
oh, it's
huge
its own
fan
song?
of it. I don't know why.
Not a big fan. Oh, okay.
And it's a great Lennon song, and yet I don't love it. It's okay. I mean, I don't hate it. Just I'm not. It's not in my top. If I was gonna. Paul's tragedy is that he never eclipsed the Beatles. I don't think there's anything tragic about Paul's solo career at all, Mondo.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'd be the first one to tell you if there was. Believe me, I don't pull punches. And did he ever? How can you going to eclipse the Beatles? First of all, how are you going to eclipse the Beatles as one person when you're talking about 4 individuals, right? Second thing is, if you want to go and debate individual songs, I will find all day Paul McCartney solo songs, wing after the Beatles, that are just as good, or in some cases better than certain Beatles songs that aren't as good. I always do that. Maybe I'm Amazed, I think, is the best song Paul ever wrote, and that's solo. Although it's pretty close on the heels of the Beatles. It's not like it's way later. The song "Some Days" is from Flaming Pie. Is better. I always pick on the same song all the time. You're not gonna like it. Is better than "What You're Doing." I'm sorry. I like "What You're Doing." Everybody, I love "What You're Doing" by the Beatles. It's just that it's not the best song that Paul ever wrote. It's a complete filler song, and I think he said that. Certainly, "Some Days" is better than that. Certainly, "Junior's Farm" is better than that. So I could go. You know,
Well, and it's also too. It's interesting. The one thing that I do love about the now influx of almost too much "Let It Be," "Get Back" session demos thrown at us now, as opposed to like the early 2000s when they were kind of, other than like "Let It Be Naked." Um, uh, uh, I was listening to Paul do a song. It sounded he kept saying like "just for you." It's just for you, da da da.
what song is
And
that?
anyways, um, well, it sounded a lot like what he ended up doing with Wildlife. That song "Tomorrow." It had kind
Yeah,
of that piano sort of crescendo. It's just for you that I sing the song each
you better
morning.
get on here, Tom, to help us out with that.
Yeah, yeah, he could sing it better. But there's that little trinket of it. It's just for you, and I think he was kind of just nervous about the new album, Paul's point.
Well, Richard, I don't know, Richard. At least you're being honest how you feel, even though you love Paul. But yeah, his voice can be really awful at times. And then like just today, I played a clip on YouTube of him doing "Getting Better" on tour. And I think it was from Vegas recently. and I thought it sounded fine. It didn't sound like 1967, but it sounded fine. And I'm like, hey, if I was in the stadium hearing Getting Better and Paul doing it with the band, with him, I think it sounds really good. I just said really good. You got to watch out what you say because it's not really good. It was good. It was fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh, God, oh, it's terrible. So there you go.
Or if you look at a person that, I mean, whether you want to agree or to disagree, is like, look at the stage presence of somebody such as like a Bob Dylan, who you can barely see now. He's almost like in the corner,
Yeah,
like
what's up with that? Yeah.
you just hear him singing in the dark, and you're just like, what the hell is this? Where at least Paul, he'll kind of, yeah, what's up? How's everyone? What? I, I think he's great still. He's still got that. You know, it's getting better all the time, I guess.
Sure. I wish Don't Let Me Down was on the Let It Be album. However, I'm also cool with it being a B side because they released the single first. They wanted to get something released, and they decided to put out "Get Back," which was a good choice. That was like a good choice for a single. And then they needed another song, so they put the Paul song and then the John song on it. "Don't Let Me Down." Early on, that was what was finished. So
I would replace it for you blue. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that.
yeah,
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Dad was not into rock music, but he
The
liked most of the Beatles songs.
instrumental,
Really
sure.
liked the instrumental part of "For You Blue." Yeah, it's all right. I don't. I mean, it's not not my top on my top list, but I like it. What do you mean Paul doesn't get credit as a solo? Or I'm lost. Wait a minute. What did I miss here? I'm not sure. I think it's a hell of a lot of credit. If I don't know. Solution to Paul's voice: just do instrumental albums from now on. Well,
Mm.
we'll see about that pretty soon. Paul has a great solo albums. Every album is amazing. Well, what about my meeting with Sean Lennon? What are you talking about? I talked to him more than Andy did. And he smiles at my picture. He's not smiling at Andy's picture. Yeah, me and Andy, we always, we joke around. We bust each other's chops. That's why recently he referred to me lovingly as my frenemy. You know, you know. Some days it's one thing, especially since Linda passed away so soon afterward. I believe that was in his mind when writing and recording the song. Yeah, I forget exactly when it was done.
And it was awful because they were kind of back. Because didn't Maureen die maybe a year or two before Linda?
Well, some Little Willow is about her
Oh, okay,
in
right.
that album. I don't remember exactly when he passed. Uh, Even though Paul's voice can be rough at times, Dylan is unlistenable. Well, yeah, but I think I like Dylan. Don't get me wrong, but I think the difference is Dylan never had a pretty voice to begin with. You know, whereas Paul did at one point.
When it's amazing how big of a fan and almost like a sycophant, because with it, as critical as George, this is where George, I kind of go, he's a bit of a Dylan sycophant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and a
And
Clapton one too.
yeah, yeah, and with it, so it's interesting because when he criticizes people who would go, oh, they're looking in on us, and all that stuff, he would still get giddy with whether it was down, whether it was Clapton, Dylan, and then of course the Ruddles. Um,
Mhm. Hi,
you know,
Darren. Paul has a lot of solo songs that are on par with his great Beatles songs, but in the Beatles, it's ridiculous how many great tunes on pretty much every album. We always go into this. Does it even matter? Paul's got a lot of great solo songs, got a lot of classic Beatles songs. It's okay. I think you mean presents. Does he get presents like flowers and stuff like that? Or you mean presents as in PRESENCE?
Yeah.
Uh,
Unlistenable.
oh, hello. I remember you. I think I remember you, right? How you doing? Who I think you are. Didn't know that I met Sean Lennon. Where you been? Look at my video. I did a video a couple of videos ago. Seriously, just check it out. I went to the same thing Andy did. I wouldn't say every album is amazing and Paul is my hero. Yeah, I know you don't like chaos and creation in the backyard for one thing. Hello, Elliot. What's going on? Elliot was there at the show as well.
You guys were all at the rock show.
What's your favorite George Harrison song and why?
The ones that Joe sings. Well, I made it through the night.
I'm not doing that tonight. Oh, you want? Well, you gave me the money, so I don't know.
No. It's okay. No. As much. I think because of the fact that, again, being one of the younger listeners, right when my first intro to the Beatles was their one album, right, and then I think about a year or maybe two, then Brainwash came out. And then I remember, then he passed, unfortunately. But right before, I remember Chris Carter really playing up Any Road. And so with it, I would tend to lean toward Any Road just because I like Brainwashed. And I feel like most fans kind of like it as a nice little, okay, I've done my business. I'm out. I think it's a great exit record for a great performer.
Well, I love that song, Any Road.
It's just a nice little sing along. There's no there's no like, oh, there's some bitterness, or even the first song that George recorded on All Things Must Pass was him whining wah wah. So he's always kind of had a little bit. When he opens the other side of George from behind that locked door, when he does that, that's when or blow or another one is Blow Away, where it's just jubilation. Let's enjoy the moment.
Yeah. I forget what I was going to say. I had a thought. I forgot it. I forgot it. I think you mean sycophant. I'm not singing John Lennon. No way. I'm not in a singing mood. But we got Tom down here finally, almost an hour in. Oh, what's going on, Tom?
Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Ed.
Hey.
And just got out of the movie. Just got home from the movies, and yeah.
This ain't the movie show.
Thanks for the invitation.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Let's see. We got Elliot. I said hello to Elliot before.
Getting all the Beatle chat out of the way before tomorrow morning's live stream. With,
yeah, we got to do that tomorrow too with Danny. I shouldn't be. I gotta rest for tomorrow. Paul's songs are live or recognizable. Dylan's songs are not. He sings them the way he feels like any given night. Yeah, I'm not wild about that approach. Changing it around.
But I find them to be very enjoyable. The two times I saw Dylan this year, I was just giddy. Maybe it's just because it was my first two times seeing him.
Mm-hmm.
And after really coming to love Rough and Rowdy Ways, he plays every song on it except for Murder Most Foul.
That'd be rough.
And, yeah. But
no, I mean, I heard it once, the album. I have it, but
right.
And everybody loves it. It's one of his best albums. Considered, I think already people are saying that. And yeah, I liked your video about the listening party. I also watched Andy Nichols' video about it. I get the impression that this was a really nice event. It really was. And Sean came across as a great guy, and he was. At least, again, at this event, I don't know him personally. What are you eating there, buddy?
Little brownie.
Oh, man. I've never heard Presence. I mean, I know the other albums. I mean, it's funny. I know just about every other album except for Presence. But I don't know 3. 3 in Presence, I don't know for some reason. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll put this up, whatever. This is one of those guys that's just a wise ass a lot of the time. This guy here. He's one of those guys that I call a tightrope walker. You don't know whether to block him and ban him or entertain him or whatever, ignore him or whatever. Everybody owns McCartney LPs. Nobody plays them. Yeah.
Oh well.
Ram on.
I always say this.
That's I would say probably between that and All Things Must Pass, the song I probably argue my 2 favorite Harrison.
Yeah, I'm not as wild about Run of the Mill as you are. I don't know.
This is one that I don't get why George calls it fruity, but I actually liked when they did 2000. He included "I Live for You." I think that
was nice.
I thought that increased the quality, and then I couldn't tell the technicalities between them.
Peter Drake's steel pedal guitar on that song that was a life-changing moment for me. I adore that track. I think if you're gonna do a show on the best deep cuts in George Harrison's career, for me that is what the definition of a deep cut is. That it's. I mean, I would have taken off. I Dig Love or what's the other one?
Oh, I Dig Love sucks.
Yeah. I would have taken that off there and put that on. I mean, that's a phenomenal song.
Yeah. This person showed me his video once of this. And I'm going to see if my memory's good enough for this. That there was a contest where you had to get a slogan or something to win dinner with Paul and Linda in 1990, and you said something like a meal that will last a lifetime or something like that, right? Something very basic, and you won. And you showed me the footage of you with Paul and at dinner in 1990, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. Paul's LPs often seem detached from reality.
Says the guy with Enterprises in his name.
Isn't that what should entertainment do?
I don't know. If you're asking me, no, I'm not going to the Sean Lennon book signing. I met him and I'm happy with. He's doing a book signing, and Elliot told me about it at I forget the date, November 7th or 6th, 6th or 7th, I think it is. I want to say. I might be going to that Beatles thing. I don't know the Rubber Soul thing. I'm not sure.
Still haven't decided yet.
No, I don't have to decide until the night before, because that's when he's leaving. So he said, "You have all the way to then." There you go. Everybody loves Tom.
Hello, Eric.
I don't know what that's all about. I don't think they had a good relationship anymore after that too much. Would you agree with that? For a while, it was a little dodgy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prior to the anthology, I would say, yeah.
All right, might as well talk about movies. What did you see?
I saw the movie called The Smashing Machine with Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, how was it?
I really enjoyed it.
He likes everything. No, I don't.
Off the Ground sucks.
Yeah. No,
yeah, that's great, Elliot. I'm happy about that. I just got my ticket today for the Minneapolis show next week. So then I got to get one for Tulsa, and then I got to get one for New Orleans. Then I'll probably drive to the other locations.
Yeah, I'm not wild about that song. I mean, I don't know. It's not one of my least favorites on Brainwash. I don't hate it. Just one of my least favorites, really.
It's
See.
it's just a copy of the Smokey Robinson song. Really got a hold of me.
Yeah, and I hate Pure Smokey also. Terrible song. Oh, boy. Right. I love Dig. Oh, come on, man. I dig love. I love Dig.
I dig love in the morning. I dig love in the evening.
Yeah, get out of here.
He digs love with Mo as well.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody ever talks about that. They talk about what John's all his stuff. Your Love Is Forever, a great George song. I agree with that.
Well, that's one thing I got to give John. I will say this is, I don't know if it's even true or not, but if it is true, bless him. Apparently, I guess when he found out, he kind of equated it to like some form of incest, or like that George actually did that. Like, wow, you actually did that.
Oh, well.
I love that John kind of got disgusted sort of by that.
That's his way. Yeah. Interesting the way he put it. Driving to Buffalo. You're gonna shuffle off to Buffalo.
All right. Very good.
Oscar, what am I doing? Shuffling off to Buffalo. You're gonna miss my sense of humor. I like Chaos and Creation. Kisses on the Major Station. I can't read all this. I don't know the way this works. Okay. I'm just saying it doesn't stick to the ribs. I'll have to give them another listen. Oh, that song sucks too. Oh, God. Get out of here with that album. You know what one really I can't stand? Can't stop thinking about. Can't stop thinking about. Can't stop thinking about you. I don't know the words exactly, but when the rain comes, where's Ian Lynn? Doesn't he say his name, Ian Lynn? What's his name?
What, you talking about?
Yeah, he starts saying who Legs is.
Oh, man.
Like the dude's name.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Man, that's true. Yeah. So Blue Jay Way.
There's a fog upon LA.
What's that other song? Well, don't when I hear the thunder.
Yeah.
Best thing about that is the cover, the texture and the words and all that. Extra texture really grew on me. Well, I love this guitar can't keep from crying, but it's too short. And I love the answers at the end, and that's it. Maybe, and also you is okay, but that's nothing. That's a lot of nothing too.
Came out 22nd of September, 75.
You got it made. I mean, I didn't spend any time with my girlfriend tonight. Busy being, watching live streams and things. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. What is the real reason Paul broke up with Jane? I heard she caught him cheating on her.
Yep.
What about Paul's paternity suit and everything? About he made somebody these things that nobody talks about, and that are going to be the real big news when that fateful day comes, when people start writing books.
Paul's infidelities.
Yeah.
I got to give her credit for for a person like that. She could have done that. She could have, kind of like correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but sometimes how sometimes you'll sort of bring up her brother Peter Asher whenever he's
Peter Asher, yes.
Peter Asher needs to insert his opinion into this. And I love that with her, it's all speculation because she just doesn't entertain it. I think that's commendable.
Cease of the Blind Man. Yeah, I think you were trying to sell me on the first Splinter album when it came out or something. I don't remember, but is George singing on it? Oh man,
I'm sure he's doing some backing vocals.
Did you guys buy Gone Troppo when it first came out or no?
Well, I did, sure. I still think it could be his worst album. It's either I mean, of the regular non-experimental albums, it's either that or Extra Texture for me. I can't tell which one. I don't know. I know everybody. Some people defend Gone Troppo, and please do. Everybody's got different opinions. Yeah, the Invisible Album. Well, I'm thinking of calling us quits. I know Tom just got here. Tom, you got to get here early. We're only here 10 minutes.
You knew I was going to the movies.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't get a chance to talk about too much of what happened at the show the other night on the other live stream. Could do, but so I figured I'd talk about stuff here. Well, it was in my head anyway to do something for Lennon.
Yeah, had a good time.
Somebody who likes Gone Troppo. There you go. There's somebody who doesn't.
Do you think because he got that dip that people tend to overlook the George Harrison self-titled album? That it's from 75 to 80, whatever.
I don't know. Well, there's mixed feelings on that album. I think no. I mean, I love it, but the self-titled one.
The self-titled is. I mean, it's a great. I think it's a great album, but it is kind of mellow.
George on that Splinter album, George plays on every song, and the band is George's band, including Billy Preston. One problem for me as a consumer, though, Elliot, as a Beatles fan, I want to hear George sing on it, even though he goes, yeah, sometimes, But no, I want, I don't know, I'm not, what can I say? I did that already. That's only one time we get to see that. It's 3 a.m. in the UK. I'm knocking out, but I'm trying to learn Stairway to Heaven. Oh, my.
And don't you stop until your fingers start bleeding there, Philip. You keep going there, buddy.
Yeah. I feel like we're bad cutting it off now, but I have to. Plus, I got to see if I can say hello to my girlfriend before it's bedtime, because I've been busy all night with all this stuff. Anyway, I got to get my energy up because I got to deal with Danny tomorrow. If anybody's watching that likes the shows with me and Danny, it's on my other channel. Why don't you just subscribe if you haven't? This one here, Mayo's Retired Life, even though I haven't really done much with that channel lately except do Danny things. Every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. So if anybody's around at 8 a.m., between the time of, say, 8 to 10 or something like that, I'll be doing a Danny conversation and getting aggravated with him. So...
yeah.
You're kidding. You wait a minute. This is not a joke, right? This is real? This is really happening, right? Wait, Eddie. You're pulling my leg. Rush is touring, huh? Boy.
It's only all over the goddamn Facebook.
Well, I meant I don't give a shit is what I meant.
Yeah. Elliot, yes, I do think
I
one
care
day.
About Rush.
Elliot, I do think one day we'll see a reissue of Holidays.
Wherever that thing is. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get rid of this banner and then I'm going to go. All right, everybody. I got to go. Thank you, Mr. Ed, for popping in here. And Tom, thank you for spending 7 or 8 minutes. I know it's not your fault. I'm just saying, just saying that. Hey,
I got my brownie. I got my brownies. I got my Miller Lite. I got, other things I can do.
Thank you, Dr. Rick. All right, everybody. Everybody have a good morning, afternoon, night, whatever time it is where you are watching this.
Thank you.
Hey, have a good day. Have a good tomorrow. Oh, he's gone. All right, end stream later. Bye, Ed.
You said bye.
What happened there? I mean, that's weird.